Now, we all know that women are at risk of the blues after having a baby, but so are dads. New research by the Gidget Foundation has found that more than half of all new fathers fail to seek support during times of stress, with more than 10% admitting to mental health struggles as a new parent.
Yeah, next Monday is International Father's Mental Health Day. Joining us now is dad of three, Craig Anderson, along with clinical psychologist Tiffany Hens. Thanks so much for coming in to talk to us. Craig, let's start with you. Your parenthood journey had a bit of a rough start, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. We had a pretty rough start. My wife was diagnosed with postnatal depression really early on. We had a lot of issues relating to feeding, sleeping, normal things, I guess, and my wife quickly slipped into some pretty serious postnatal depression, which led to me, doing what most fathers would do in that situation, trying to pick up the slack at home, continue on your job, work-life balance, all of those type of things, and pretty much failing at it and realising a bit too late that I was not doing too well myself.
What was that trigger for you that made you go, oh, you know what, I'm not coping here?
There was... my anxiety was really relating into public places with my son. I never felt comfortable. Parks in particular were a particularly hair-raising moment for me. And I had an incident taking my son to daycare on public transport. It was an altercation with another passenger where my immediate reaction was to get physical. Yeah. 10 straight away. I had my 6-month-old son in my hands and all I could think was getting quite violent. So that's not a natural reaction. It triggered a massive anxiety for me. I couldn't leave the house and really just got to the point where my wife was the caveat to saying, hey, you need to go and get some help. This isn't normal.
Yeah.
It's great that you did, and it's great that you're talking about it as well. I mean, I'm recently the father of 3 as well, and I still have those difficulties, but I'm trying to find the balance, especially when, Tiffany, especially when you're trying to be, you still feel as though you need to be the provider and the protector in this situation as well. The pressure is a huge part of the problem for both parents.
Yeah, absolutely, Tristan. I think that one of the big things that you're mentioning there is the stigma that's often involved with men and, mental health issues in general, but particularly in the perinatal period. A lot of people assume perinatal mental health issues are a women's issue or a birthing parent, and they don't think about the other partner in this, the non-birthing partner or the dad. And I think that the stigma attached to seeking help or even putting your hand up and saying, you know what, this doesn't feel right, or I'm not feeling like I can do this, is massive.
Craig, when you first reached out to doctors to get help and they came back to you with a diagnosis, what was your first kind of reaction to that? That kind of like, oh, that's something that happens to women,
The first time someone said perinatal, postnatal depression or anxiety, I said, I'm not a woman. My hormones aren't out of whack, complete naivety. But that diagnosis also gave me a lot of, it sounds weird to say joy, but more relief than anything else, that it wasn't that I'm just a poor father. There was a diagnosis of something that I now know is treatable and also know is incredibly common among men. It gave me the chance to blame something, to really try and fix it and to not just continually blame myself, which is what I was doing at the time.
Yeah, and I think as well, dads in particular, I remember when I first had my kids, I'd go to the park and there'd be lots of mums there with their babies. And there'd be the odd dad by himself, not knowing how to kind of fit in, and that kind of support structure can make a huge amount of difference as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, parks for me are just a nightmare. There's a million kids, a million parents, a million things that can go wrong. So for me it was about, and part of my, I guess, treatment has been learning what I can and can't handle, and then trying to push that out slowly. So not going to the park, maybe going to the beach, maybe going to an oval, and then slowly learning. Also I wasn't around my son as much as my wife because I was back at work, so I didn't know what he was capable of and what he wasn't. So for me, he might be in a situation that is completely capable, but I don't think he is. So I'm constantly on eggshells, helicoptering parent behind him. So it was a balancing act for me. It was really treating my own anxiety, nothing to do with my son. It was nothing about how much I love him or how proud I was of him. It was about me feeling inadequate as a parent and learning to cope with that.
Yeah. I was going to say how relatable it was. I mean, I often feel like I'm in the exact same position, and it's kind of, it's trying to maybe not put your stamp on it, but there's certain things that you kind of go, right, well, I'm comfortable doing this, so I'll do this, which completely flips everything on the head from what your child has been doing, like you said, because they spend so much time with their mother when I'm here, you know, and you're trying to open up to your friends, and you've got that one friend who realised this is a serious thing that you're trying to tell me, not kind of, you know, I know it's difficult, isn't it? And it's very. How are you doing now? I mean, you've got 2 3-month-old twins.
They're 10 months old now.
Oh, sorry.
They're a couple of months preemie. I'm doing well. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
Gee, mate, you doubled down, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a classic us. But look, they're brilliant. It's been a different journey with them. It was obviously they were a couple of months premature, so we did the NICU journey in COVID. So it was a difficult time. They've had some health issues since, but I think, more importantly, I'm not 100% cured. I still seek professional help through the Gidget Foundation, who have just been fantastic for my family the whole way across. But I've got clear strategies in place now. I know where my triggers are. I know what to look for, and it's for me, it's an ongoing part of my life that I need to do. So it's completely treatable. I will be cured, I guess, eventually down the track. But I'm loving being a parent. I have my moments like any parent does.
Oh, we all do.
But yeah, I mean, I'm in a much better place than what I was 4 years ago, that's for sure.
That's great to hear.
Beautiful
it's so
dad.
important to hear that as well, because it is going to get easier, but it's so good. You're always learning.
Yeah,
You're always
and
learning.
from what we've seen today, nothing but a beautiful dad with a great message for other dads out there as well. The Gidget Foundation is there to help all new parents. You can head to gidgetfoundation.org.au for more information. Craig and Tiffany, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having
Really
us.
appreciate your
Thank you.
time.
Thanks for
and
speaking
good luck
about
with
it.
those
Thanks for the
bubs.
support. Yeah, of course.
Thanks.